Hello students, good morning to all of you. Myself Mrs. Anupama Das, a teacher in political science, wants to invite all of you in my new YouTube channel that is Prerana YT. Students, as I have said you earlier, Prerana YT, it is solely an educational channel, mainly devoted for the student of political science. Its main purpose is to provide each and every kinds of study material supports through the system of audio-video programs. Along with this channel will also provide them the review of questions, especially of 2 marks, 3 marks, very specific objective type of questions, expected questions based upon the previous year, so that the students they will get much more facility out of this. So I hope this channel will definitely create a zone of knowledge, cooperation and successfulness for the student, no doubt. So without delaying our time, let us move to the present structure of the study today. The present structure of the study, it is highlighted as here. It is concerned with first, the scope of public administration. Number 2, the expanding nature of public administration. Number 3, the various regions behind its expansion. Number 4, the scope of the subject will be discussed here under 2 heads. First, the scope of public administration as an activity. Number 2, the scope of public administration as a discipline. So, this is the structure of the study today, and within this structural format, we will understand the scope of public administration. Students, what do you understand by the term scope? Scope means what? Each and every subject has its own scope. Political science has its own scope, economics has its own scope. Similarly, public administration has its also own scope. So what do you understand by the term scope? Scope means the subject matter of the study. Scope means the content area of the study. Scope means the boundary area of the study, to what extent it has broadened itself. So the scope of a subject, it comes a wider area of the discussion. The scope of the subject, it covers a wider area of analysis. Students, as I have said you earlier, public administration, it is a dedicated academic field. Emerged in 19th century and developed in 20th century, public administration has now been able to get a separate status in the ambit of social sciences today. Its growing popularity, significant role has made it described as the heart of human civilization today. The scope of public administration has become very wide and comprehensive one, because it not only involves the study of all operations of government of making and implementing public policies, but also covers all aspects of human life. It not only concerned with the development of new administrative techniques, but also includes ecological and human aspect of development. With the rise of modern administrative state, public administration has become an essential part of our society. So, the scope of public administration covers educational administration, cooperative system, local government administration, development administration, etc. Further, in the era of globalization, international administration has also become an important part of the scope of the study. Besides this, it also includes the ecological and human aspect of development. So, as a subject of study, public administration covers a wide range of subject matter. Its interdisciplinary focus and ecological approach has now broadened its scope to a new level. So, let us analyze broadly the scope of public administration. The scope of public administration has been broadly divided into two important points: the scope of public administration as an activity, as well as the scope of public administration as a discipline. As an activity, public administration covers all entire activities of the government. Public administration, it embraces all the activities of the government. That means the activities of the public administration means the activities of the government. You know, in modern welfare state, the people have various kinds of demands. They have various kinds of expectations. They need wide variety of services and protection from the government. So in this context, public administration provides them a number of welfare and security services, and this kind of functions it is called upon to perform now has expanded its scope. The emergence of welfare and democratic state have been now more responsible to provide the essential requirements of human life, as a result of which the scope of public administration has growingly increased its significance. Thereafter, the second thing comes, that is the scope of public administration as a discipline. How? A comprehensive study of scope of public administration as a discipline has been given by different writers, which are as follows. In the opinion of Pfiffner, public administration is concerned with what and how of the government. What actually government do and how, in which way, what kind of methods, what kind of management it follow, so that it able to accomplish its goal. Where administration consisting of what to do and how to do. Next, Henry Fayol. Henry Fayol identified 5 principal categories of administrative function. These are popularly known as POCQ. P stands for planning, O stands for organization, C stands for command, 4 that is coordination, C stands for coordination, and thereafter C stands for control. All these words play a very important role in the field of administration, because without planning, organization, command, coordination and control, the wheels of administration cannot be carried out. The performance of functions cannot be efficiently done. We cannot able to achieve the different goals in different period of time. So these are the key words which are found always in the sphere of scope of public administration. Next, Luther Gulick. Luther Gulick identified the scope of the subject by the word post curve. What actually post curve means by? Post curve, it is a combination of different letters P, O, S, D, C, O, R, B. All these are the most important letters and they signify a specific word. P, this letter stands for planning. O stands for organization, S stands for staffing, D stands for direction, CO stands for coordination, R stands for reporting, and B stands for budgeting. So let us analyze all these letters broadly. First, P stands for planning. Planning means what? Students, whatever we will do something to realize a goal, first of all, there is a specific outline in our mind. What should we have to do? And what kind of methods we have to do? What should be our priorities? And what should be done first, so that it will be easier for us to accomplish our purpose. So planning means what? It is a structure that is make the thing to realize it very easily, and it means working out in broad outline the things to be done and the methods to be adopted for accomplishing a purpose. Thereafter, O stands for organization. Organization means what? Administration, it is in hierarchical position. There is a top level official. In the bottom level, there are also officials. In different level of administration, there are different officials. So, administration, it is always refers to the establishment of a formal structure of the authority through which work is subdivided, arranged and coordinated. Thereafter, staffing. S stands for staffing. Staffing means what? For administration, for its smooth functioning, for its effective functioning, recruitment or appointment of staffs are very much essential thing, because administration needs a right candidate for the right jobs. It needs man of efficiency, man of knowledge, man of experience, man of expertise. Those must have knowledge about the different field of work in the administration. So staffing means appointment of suitable persons to various posts. Not only this, it also includes their training to make them more efficient and perfect, and it also includes their condition of work. Thereafter, D stands for directing. Directing means in the hierarchical position, the top level officials, they make decisions and they issue orders. And in this way, they guide the total administrative system. Thereafter, C stands for coordination. Coordination means what? Interrelating the work of various divisions, sections and other part of the organization. Without coordination, the administration cannot be smoothly, efficiently carried out. Because coordination is the vital thing in order to perfectly do a work. In order to realize the purpose of the administration, coordination must be there. Thereafter, R stands for reporting. On the basis of the order, on the basis of the decisions made by the officials at the top level, the bottom level officials, they makes their report, what they have done. In order to make them transparent one in this field, they makes their report from time to time. B stands for budgeting. Budgeting means what? Budgeting means all that goes in the form of fiscal planning, that means financial planning, which includes both income and expenditure, accounting and financial control. Because without finance, nothing can be done. Without a single coin, nothing can be done. Administration, it is a very complex activities, and for the effective, efficient functioning of the field of administration, budget is the backbone of the state. Budget is the backbone of the administration. Thereafter, this view, of course, post-car view, it has given unity, certainty, and it has made the study more systematic one, of course, but this view is not free from criticisms. Numerous political thinkers, they have criticized this post-car view of public administration. Why? What are the most important ground of its criticisms? Let us analyze. The critics analyze that post-car activities were neither the whole of administration nor even the important part of it. Some critics also says that post-car view only take into consideration only the common techniques of administration, but it ignores the study of subject matter with which the agency is concerned. Therefore, in accordance with this view, the scope of public administration is narrowly defined, and it only gives importance to the top management of administration. Besides this, one more important thinker you are able to find in defining the scope of public administration that cannot be left behind, that is Walker. Walker has provided an important contribution for the field of or for defining the scope of administration, scope of public administration, where he has divided the scope of public administration basically into two parts. First, administrative theory, and thereafter applied administration. So let us understand first what is administrative theory in accordance with Walker. Administrative theory implies public administration here concerned with the activities of the three branches of government. That means the executive, legislature and the judiciary. Not only this is covered within the scope of public administration, but besides this, it also includes their structure, their organization, function, methods of all types of authority in administration, whether they belong to national government, regional government or local government. Thereafter, it also includes the planning, programming, execution of public action, recruitment and problems of public relation in different period of time, what kind of public action is there, what kind of public problems of public relation is there, what kind of planning should be there, what kind of programming should be there. All these are very importantly, significantly carried out within this ground, administrative theory. Thereafter, administrative activities also cover three important administration, that is personal administration, that means recruitment of perfect person for perfect job, financial administration that deals with budgetary system, accounting system, controlling part of the expenditure and controlling over administration. All these are the broader areas that we are able to find in the field of administrative theory that has been described by Walker. Thereafter, Walker has provided another more view in its applied part of administration, where he has coined 10 important principles of applied administration. First of all, he has said about the political principles. In this political principle, he has defined the relationship between executive and legislature. He has provided the idea of politico-administrative activities of the cabinet and the ministers and official relationship. In the second part, that is the legislation, he has included delegated legislation and drafting of bills for legislative enactment. Delegated legislation means what? In this modern age, with this concept of modern welfare state, its growth and advance has made the legislature overburdened one because of the excessive demands made by the people from time to time. As we know, there are some lacunas on the part of legislature. The legislature is not always in session, and the members of legislature, they are also not all man of efficiency and man of knowledge. They are amateur. They are having lack of knowledge in the field of administration. So maximum time, what happened? The function of legislation, it is delegated by the members of parliament to the non-political executive. That means the bureaucrats. Those are men of expertise, men of knowledge, men of excellence, and they handle this legislation part. So when the power of legislation, it is delegated by the legislative body to the executive body, that refers to the sphere of delegated legislation. So this kind of functions, it deals with in this sphere, drafting of bills in different period of time. Thereafter, the financial, which includes the fiscal administration, starting from the preparation of budget to its execution. Thereafter, the defense administration, which includes the military administration for the protection of the country. Thereafter, the most important aspect of administration, that is the educational administration, which includes all aspects of educational planning and programs. Thereafter, social administration, which includes all the administration in the social fields, just like housing, food, social security, and employment. Economics administration includes the fields like industry, establishment of industry, agriculture, foreign trade, commerce, public enterprises, etc. Foreign administration, it covers the relationship of our country with other nation states of the world to bring about international cooperation. Not only with other states of the world, but also international cooperation with international agencies to bring about international peace, prosperity, and development. Besides this, one more important field of administration is there, that is imperial administration. Imperial administration includes the problem and techniques of imperial domination over other nations. And last but not the least, it includes local administration, which covers the administration of local bodies. Because the grassroots level of democracy, it will be successful. It is only can be successful with the effective functioning of the local administration of a country. With regard to the scope of public administration that has been provided by Walker, which clearly demonstrates its popularity of the broader view of scope of the subject, where he has synthesized the managerial, integrative as well as narrower and broader view of public administration. Thus, the public administration has become very wider one, comprehensive one, systematic one. It has taken into account interdisciplinary approach. The impact of globalization has made the study very much broader one, comprehensive one. So, it has made the study overall very much vast. So, with this, I have already completed the scope of public administration, and in the next video I will provide you the next part of public administration, that is the significance and evolution part. If you like this video, please provide your like, subscription and share it so that I will be more inspired in my effort. So see you soon in the next class. Goodbye. Thank you.